I'm Glenn Young, Amazon's fitness magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Amazon'sFitMag.com. This video is brought to you by Phase Up Nutrition, Against All Odds, PhaseUpNutrition.com. Vincenzo Yocolano. So make sure you check him out to get all your supplements and anything you may need for your training and competitions. And of course, Maximus Posing Suits. Celebrate your inner warrior, winning on every stage. Michelle Bogdan is your owner. Make sure if y'all want to get a suit, you're in competition. She does everything from men's, women's, bikini, all the way up to women's bodybuilder. She's a women's bodybuilder herself. And check her out at MaximusPosingSuits.com. I'm on set with Brie Marshall, now women's physique, but you started out as figure.
Yep.
So tell everybody about Brie Marshall.
Well, I'm Brie Marshall. I started bodybuilding in 2018, and I was 19 years old. I turned pro at the 2020 Junior USA's in the figure division, where I also crossed over and competed in wellness, figure, and women's physique. Wellness, I got 4th in my class, so last I was too shredded. Figure was right on the dot, and then women's physique was just off by 1 point. So
what made you ultimately select women's physique of those 3 categories?
Women's physique, I feel more comfortable in. One, no more heels, so that's great. But 2, just the fluidity and the posing. You can get creative and show your physique on how you want to showcase it, so I really love the art behind that.
Okay. And of course, this year, win and you're in. What's your thoughts on the number of shows for women's physique and women's bodybuilding when they did this change? And it affected all categories, some of the men's, everybody as well.
Right.
But it seemed to really hit hard with the women's bodybuilding and of course women's physique.
Yeah, no, it definitely increased the difficulty to get to the Olympia, but also in turn, it makes the Olympia a little bit more prestigious, and to get to that stage and have less girls and less spots on that stage, it just makes it even more of a blessing, and
it's really the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you look at it and when you think about, in baseball they have a pitch count. Everybody's trying to make it to the Olympia. Is there a number out there, the number of shows you should or could do, or does it really matter, or is it based on the coach or the individual? Because after you don't get it the first time, say, okay, I'm gonna do another. Now you've done 2.
Yeah.
You're looking at the barrel of 3. Like Julia Wetzel took her 3.
Right.
Of course, you went against the best of the best. Of course. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's just up to the individual. Some people can compete for most of the year, but for me personally, I'm looking at it as a longevity standpoint.
Right.
So if I don't make the qualification within the 1 or 2 shows, then I'll probably just lock things up and go into an improvement season, make the changes I need to do, and get to that big stage.
Yeah, and longevity is the key. You're only 23 years old, so you got so much time. It's not even funny. I mean, when you look at like Sherry Priami's 48, Andrea Shaw is 40. So I'm like, Natalia Coelho, I want to say, is 27, 29. And I remember when she was at 22. I followed her since 2017. It's like, you got so much time to grow. So just take your time, nice and slow, and you're gonna kill it. You already are. You look great. You already picked out your show, and this will be not your pro debut.
But my women's physique.
But your first women's physique pro debut. How do you feel?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you're gonna do the Texas Pro?
Yeah.
That's a big show. Everything's big in Texas, as they say.
But with it being a big show and it being more prestigious as each year it comes up, that will allow me to see how I stack up against more of the better competitors. So that's what I'm truly excited for, to see how I stack up. So.
I mean, women's physique, you look at those top 3, I'm like, in the battle between Natalia Coelho and, of course, the prestigious award in Texas this year that she's giving away.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who's the best of those 2?
Between Sarah and...
Yeah, Sarah Villegas.
And Natalia.
And the people gotta understand, Natalia, is the ideal of perseverance and prevailing. Because she was like second, and then here comes Sarah Vegas out of nowhere.
Right.
And then Shanique Grant was gone. I mean, the last 4-time women's physique was, what was her name? It escapes me. But there hasn't been 4 since. Most everybody's gone 2 and then lost. So now Natalia's going for her second win. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. But I think it'll come down to just the conditioning standpoint, because I know that Sarah did come in a little bit softer than what she was normally coming in as. So
based on bad intel.
Yeah. So I don't think that she's gonna make that same call again, and I think it'll be a different story. Possibly.
And when you're the 2-time champ, I mean, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
it's so quiet. She ain't saying nothing. And I remember they did one interview. Said, "You want me to retire you?" So now, like, then when she lost, so now this is really going to be good. Then of course Brooke Walker.
Yeah.
Who knows? She may come out and spank them both. So going into this Olympia is really excited with women's physique highs. That's a definitely backstory that everybody's going to follow. So you'll do the Texas Pro. This is the first one of the season. 20-week prep, roughly. Well, you actually been in prep since last year, but now that you're getting down to it with 10 weeks to go, what are your thoughts? What do you feel? I mean, do you even care? I mean, this is a huge. Well, at this point, it's halftime. So every show, Atlanta, Tampa, Texas, everything's a huge show now because everybody's really trying to get it. How do you feel?
I'm just excited to be up there because I haven't competed since 2021. So taking that long of a break is a little too long. But you know, I'm excited just to be able to compete again. Honestly, so whatever the outcome ends up being, then that's what it is. Because my thing is what's meant to be is meant to be, and everything happens for a reason. So
and gives you time to grow into the sport as well.
Absolutely.
Women's physique is
And
if you got the call up, you know, I hate to say like I said in a previous interview, do you feel like women's physique is the minors, and so when they get called up to women's bodybuilding, now you're up to the big leagues?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, because I feel like there is a good difference between the two. So
you think there's no blurred line between women's physique and women's bodybuilding?
Some girls are getting a little big for women's physique, I feel like, but
you know,
maybe if they were a little bit more cut and dry on the criteria with that, maybe possibly a weight cap, maybe that might help. But
and that's an interesting story that just came out too. They're talking about a weight category
for men's
physique.
Yeah.
You think it should happen in women's physique? I
mean,
what's the benefit?
I mean, I think it would help with deciding on who's solely women's physique and who's women's bodybuilding. But I don't
create
think
a bigger separation.
Yeah, and I mean, it would make sure everybody comes in the right conditioning that they want. So,
you know,
essentially,
you just never know. I mean, best case scenario, we get to the Olympia. Natalia, I think women's physique goes on first or second, or women's bodybuilding goes
on. I think women's physique first.
So if you were to play, like everybody has fantasy football, and you hit fantasy women's bodybuilding, and Andrea goes out there, she wins, and then Natalia walks out, say we'll go belt for belt, assuming that Natalia's won. Who do you think wins it?
Versus Andrea and Natalia?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big Andrea fan. So.
And I can't, you know, and then of course I'm forgetting about Angela Yo, but I mean, she was just, she's like, what, 1 year removed from women's physique and took second, like.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just like to just see nothing else to pose down. I think it would be great entertainment as a fan. But anyway.
100%.
Well, appreciate you coming down to shoot.
I appreciate it.
Look forward to tracking you all the way up to your stage in Texas, so we'll be shooting again. And so glad you came down here to shoot with me here in Rayford or Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else you want to give a shout out to? Sponsors, coaches?
I want to give a shout out to my coach, Cornelius Parkin. I've been working with him since 2019. He is the sole reason of me really honing in on the longevity in the sport. He's not a coach that pushes anything on me, so I'm really thankful for that and where he's gotten me today. I want to shout out to my sponsors, my supplement sponsor, Chaos and Pain. hair sponsor, Stage Ready Glam.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're huge. That's
They
a big
are.
one.
Yeah, they're great. And my meal prep company, Long Life Meal Prep, they've been with me since I turned pro, and they've been a very big help with cooking my food. So
Nice.
less time for me in the kitchen. So yeah, I'm really thankful for the people behind me.
Good stuff. Brie Marshall. Look
right.
for her in the July issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Make sure you celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to Amazon'sFitMag.com. Thanks for coming to shoot.
Thank you.
We'll be shooting again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you next time.